Well, hello there. Hope you're having a fantastic day. This is JC Bernal, your business growth coach. And the Business Growth Attitude Show, it's all about helping you, the business owner, adopt a business growth attitude to develop, advance, expand, and see the opportunity and potential in every single moment. A business growth attitude will position your business, its brand, and its people for growth, profit, and success. And without further ado, let's get to today's episode. Oh, hello and welcome. So glad you joined me in this business growth attitude journey. In this episode, I'm diving into a subject that's very talked about everywhere in books, blogs, podcasts, and probably every other website, and that's success. And the reason I want to talk about it's because in my case, I spent most of my career feeling unsuccessful. And that was because the way I defined it, I came across Dan Sullivan's The Gain and the Gap book. And I loved it because it gave me a better perspective because I always saw success as something that I would reach and I would accomplish and then I would celebrate and be there and then feel all this success. But it seemed like I never got there. And Dan Sullivan says, well, success is a lot like the horizon where we know it's there and we're walking towards it, but we never really reach it. And when I understood that, I realized I have to redefine what I define as success. And I came across Earl Nightingale's definition of success. And I said, this is it. This is what's going to make me successful no matter where I am in my journey. And his definition is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. Well, doesn't that make sense? The progressive realization of a worthy idea. If I'm progressively advancing, if I'm moving towards that idea, that vision of what I want as an outcome, then I'm going to be feeling successful all the time. But when we define success as an end, something that we'll accomplish at some point, the opposite is true. We'll feel unsuccessful most of the time. So what I want to do is give you 6 steps in that what's going to help you to maintain that attitude of success that we require in order to grow our business. Because remember, if we feel unsuccessful, we're going to think we're unsuccessful, we're going to act unsuccessful, and our results are going to be unsuccessful. So we want to change that pattern. We want to get into a mode of feeling successful every single day. Now, the first step is defining your vision so that it's so clear that you know where you're going. What's the end result that you're looking for? What is your goal? Where is your journey taking you? So that you could always stay focused on moving that way. You see, we are like a thermostat that we set the temperature, and that temperature is our vision, it's our goal, is where we want to get to. And then, because of different reasons, changes of temperature, a door opens, or something happens, that temperature change, and the thermostat automatically adjusts, turns on the furnace or turns on the air conditioning, depending on whether it's cold or hot, and gets us back into that same temperature again. Well, if we don't have a vision, if we don't have a set of what that temperature should be, then we never know. You know, we could be cold or we could be hot and not know if we're moving towards that end result. And it's the same thing if you get on an airplane and you're going from California to New York. As soon as it takes off, it starts deviating from that final destination. And what happens, there is constant adjustments that need to be made in order to arrive to New York at the right time and be able to make it there, right? Now, we have that same system in ourselves. We need to be constantly adjusting. So if we don't have a clear vision, one of those visions that we can actually feel, we can sense, we can taste, it's so clear that we know exactly where we're going, then those adjustments never happen. And therefore, we can't make a progressive advance towards that worthy idea that we want because we don't know what that worthy idea is. We don't have it clear. So you see, that vision, that place that we're going, it's not getting there that's going to make us successful. As soon as we get there, we're going to realize that success becomes something else. We're going to want something else. We want to expand, and now we want to go from New York into London, or we want to have the temperature, set a little bit colder or a little bit hotter. As soon as we get there, we're going to make a decision about what's the next vision, the next goal, the next place that we're going to. But we need to have it in order to know what I need to do today to stay on track, because that's what's going to make us successful. Successful is when we continue to move forward towards that goal. And this is what every day we should be working on so that we can feel successful every single day, taking deliberate action towards that goal that's going to move us closer. Now, the second thing is to eliminate the negative talk while we move towards that goal. We feel unsuccessful is because we have all this self-talk every single day that's telling us that we're not doing things right, we're not good enough, that's impossible, you need too much money in order to do that. That's really hard to grow a business. That's really difficult. You don't have what it takes. You don't have the knowledge or the skills that are required. And we hear this all day long. And what happens is this makes us feel very unsuccessful, because why? We feel like we're not advancing towards that idea that we have. We're not advancing towards our goals. We're not advancing toward our final destination. We need to realize that we're not free until we're conscious. If we're not conscious about it, then that self-talk is going to guide us. It's going to be, and it could be that instead of guiding us towards that goal, instead of keeping that plane in that route towards New York, it might just deviating to somewhere else. It might deviating to Florida because it's easier, it's not going to cost so much, it's not going to take such a long time. And by the time we realize, we have talked ourselves out of reaching our destination. You see? So that's why we've got to be very conscious of what our self-talks, what is it that we're hearing? What's that little voice telling us? And what happens is that this little voice is screaming what our limiting beliefs are. When we start hearing that voice, we got to immediately stop and say, okay, if I'm hearing that, is because I have an internal belief that is in alignment with that voice. And we want to change that belief. We want to be able to take those beliefs and just remove them from our life so that self-talk stops and we can continue in our journey. So in order to do that, what you need to do is write down what is it that you're hearing. Is it that you're not good enough? Is it that things are impossible or too hard or too difficult, or that you don't have what it takes in order to make there? So write it down so that from there you can determine, okay, what's the belief behind this? And when you write your beliefs, those negative limiting beliefs that you have, now what you need to do is convert them. Changing a belief is very simple. We just need to find out what the belief, the negative limiting belief is, and replace it. Come up with a good, empowering belief. And then what you do is just repeat that new belief, keep it written down. Something that helps me a lot is that I replace my limiting beliefs with a empowering belief, and then I put it somewhere where I can read it during the day a few times a day, and before I go to sleep, and the first thing when I wake up, and I read it because the more you say it, the more you express it, your subconscious starts accepting it as true. And once that becomes as true, then your new paradigm is this new belief, and you start acting and moving as if that was your new belief, because it is, you have just created this new belief. And this is, if you do this for 30 days, it's amazing what happens. You become this other person. You become a person that has more confidence, that you're able to take action, you're able to move forward. Once again, you're able to move progressively towards that idea, that vision, that goal that you have, and therefore you stay successful. So make sure that you are conscious that of your self-talk, and then convert them. Find out what your limiting beliefs is behind it, write it down, and then replace it with an empowering belief, and repeat those empowering beliefs for 30 days, and you'll see this fantastic change. You'll start feeling successful every single day, because now your self-talk starts changing into positive things. This is possible. We can make it. This has become so much easier to get there. It is, I have everything it takes, and if I don't, I'm learning it. And when we start speaking in that manner, we start feeling successful, because we're moving towards our goals, towards our vision, towards what we want. Okay, number three is build your confidence. You see, we don't take action because in any area of our life, we may feel that I don't have the confidence to do that. And when we translate that to ourselves, what we say is, I'm not confident. And the reality is that you are confident. If you think about it, you're confident in a lot of things in your life. You might not be confident in one area, in a specific area. And the first thing is to not label yourself as a person that's not confident. Because when we do that, then our subconscious catches it, and we start acting and behaving without confidence. And that could be seen that we can communicate that to everybody just by showing up. And the reality is that if you were to think about what are your confidence in, there's a whole bunch of things that we do in a daily basis that we feel very confident doing. It might be the technical work that you do. It might be that, I don't know, even brushing your teeth, you probably are very confident about it. You're very confident about a whole bunch of things that we do during the day that we feel confident in, and yet we focus so much on that one area that we don't feel confidence, that it causes us to feel I am not confident. And when we do that I am stuff, that's identifying ourselves with a behavior or something that we need to learn, and we need to break that habit. And once again, come back and say, okay, all right, this is an area that I need to improve. So therefore, I will be confident in that area. Soon I will be confident in that area. I will no longer be incompetent, so that I can feel confident. So what we need to do here is develop our knowledge and our skills. We need to work on those areas. If I'm not good at a certain thing, well, that's pretty obvious that you're going to feel unconfident, and or you're going to have a lack of confidence in it. But as soon as you start working towards it, you know more about it, you acquire more knowledge, and you start practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. That's, you want to develop strong confidence, practice, practice, practice. And the more you do that, you'll find yourself that all of a sudden the confidence is there. We see that all the time. We see that when we start a new job, that first day we feel so lost. We feel like we don't know where anything is. We feel like we need to be directed to do anything. And by the third month, we're moving around and we're doing things with this confidence that we go, where did that come from? From practice, from doing it every single day. But we are so afraid of what people think that we're not willing to practice, so that we can get better and we can develop those skills that we need, so that we can become confident. So the idea here is behave as if you were confident. What would you do if you had all that confidence? How would you show up? What would that person look like? And start imitating that person. Start behaving in that way. Build your confidence by being confident. That's how we do it. And the more we do it, the more we practice, the better we become at it. and then it becomes just as natural as brushing your teeth, and then you be as confident as brushing your teeth. You see, when you brush your teeth, you're not thinking, oh, I wonder what people are thinking about me as I brush your teeth. You really don't care. You just do it, and you do it right, and you're very confident about it. And this is what happens with every other area in your life. You get that sense, let me remove, I don't care what people are thinking about it. I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. I'm going to do it better tomorrow. I'm going to do it better the next day. And I'm going to continue to get better. And then my confidence continue to build until I get there. The reason we need confidence is so that we can act. Because when we don't have the confidence, what we do is we paralyze and we don't take action. And when we don't take action, we're not moving forward towards that goal or that vision that we have, and therefore we're going to feel unsuccessful. We're going to feel I'm not advancing towards that worthy idea that I have come up with. And so, what the reason step three is build your confidence is that I want you to take action. Yeah, I don't want you to sit around and wait for this, worthy idea to happen. I want you to create it, and I want you to create it every single day. And we create by thinking and acting. We visualize what that idea is. We have it so clear in our head that I know it's going to happen, and then we translate that into some sort of action that moves us towards acquiring that goal or that vision that we want. Okay, so step four is discovering the hidden challenges that are keeping us and are holding us back from moving faster and getting there to where we're going to go. And here, what we're going to take is we're going to take a look at those four major blocks that we could have. And the first one is interpretation. And interpretations is when we take a look at something, an action, a reaction, or something that happened outside of us, and we give it an interpretation just from our point of view, and we get stuck on that. And it's negative because if it's keeping us from advancing, interpretation could be something like growing a business is so hard, and that's an interpretation I have. It's an interpretation because I saw my parents, try to build business, and I saw how hard it was for them. And what I interpret from seeing what they did was, man, that's hard. And I kept that, and now I have it. So everything I do in my business is hard. And a good way to break through interpretations, the interpretations that are keeping us from our goals, is asking the question, what's another way to look at this? If I would ask mom and dad, what would they say? And what would I say? What would other very successful business people that have grown big companies, what would they say about growing a company? And you might find a lot of them to agree with you and say, yeah, no, it's building a business, it's hard. And then go further, what's hard about it? And you'll find that there are certain things that they experience in the growth of a company that for everybody is very different, and what we need to do is not take the interpretations, not take the things that we see literally just from my point of view, but ask other people how they envision what you're interpreting, to see if there's a different way of looking at it. There's always a different way of looking at it. And when we create these interpretations, we're going to live by them. So we want to break through them so it doesn't hold us back and we're not afraid and we don't get paralyzed and not move towards that worthy idea. The second one is assumptions, assuming that because it happened in the past, it's going to happen again in the future. And assumptions are a little bit harder to break because it's something I've gone through, something that has happened to me. If we were to break through assumptions, you say, no, hang on a second, because I'm not making this up. This really happened to me. Here, what we need to do is just a simple question. Just because it happened in the past, why does it have to happen again? You see, what happens is that today you're not the same person that you were yesterday or a year ago, 2 years ago. You have become a new person. You have uh, grown, the circumstances around you have changed, your environment is not the same. Everything is changing every single day. So, assuming that something happened in the past will happen again in the future, actually, you probably have less chances of it because the everything has changed from you to everything else, your environment and everything that surrounds you. So remember, when you have an assumption, I'm not going to try that because I've tried it in the past and I have failed. And we do this with so many things. Like even when we're going to create a proposal, if we're thinking that proposal is not going to be accepted because it wasn't accepted the last time I proposed something, they didn't accept it, then we don't take action towards what could be different. And so once again, just because that happened in the past, why does it have to happen again? That'll help you break through the assumptions and get to action and get to the place where you can move your that progressive movement to that worthy idea. Okay, the next one is limiting beliefs, and we've been speaking a lot about limiting beliefs throughout all this talk, uh, and limiting beliefs are just they either come from the past, our parents, our teachers, our friends that we have accepted as true. And when is a limiting belief a limiting belief? When it's not helping you move towards your worthy idea. It's holding you back. It doesn't matter. And you can explain, but it's so true, you know. And here, what you need to do is ask the opposite question: how true is that belief? How true is that? Is it true for everybody? 100% of the population in the world would say that that's true, and it's actually they're living up to that, or is this a truth that it's only particular to my family or my city or a certain area or my culture or whatever? Because there's some beliefs that they're cultural, and some beliefs are within the family, and nonetheless, whether a lot of people or a few people have it, you need to, if it's holding you back from progressively advancing towards that uh, worthy idea, you need to break through it and ask and question it. How true is that belief? And you'll get to see that the reality is that this is only true if I make it true. But if I break through that and I get to that next level of belief, of actual belief that it's possible, that I can do it, then I can move a lot easier because then I become that person that believes that I can do it and therefore I can do it. Okay? The last one is the inner critic. We talked about the inner critic before. It's that self talk. And this inner critic, what we need to do is replace that inner critic with the inner fan. And we do that by giving it a new task. We speak to that inner critic, we take it out of ourselves, and we create an external figure. It could be an action figure, it could be whatever you make out of it, and speak to it outside yourself and give it a new job. Give it that job. It says, hey, listen, you've been really holding me back because I know you need to protect me, and I thank you for it. And we go through that process of just releasing him from that job that they have of protection and give him a new job. I need you to become my new fan. I need you to encourage me. I need you to give me, good feedback. I need to hear good stuff from you. And then that inner critic becomes our inner fan. And could you imagine, instead of hearing all those negative thoughts all day long, you start hearing positive, encouraging thoughts that get you moving into whatever it is that you need to do. All right, so that's step 4. Step 5 is we become the success you want to be. So what we need to do is look at our vision, our goal, and determine who do I have to become to get there. If I were to tell somebody else, hey, if that's your vision and that's your goal, you need to become this, and we give them a detailed description of what this person looks like, that's what I need to do with my own vision and goal. What is it that I need to become? What's the description of this person, right? And we write everything that that person requires. And then we work on becoming that person every single day. You see, success is like happiness. It's not something that we're going to get to. It's something that we become. We first become happy. That's we decide to become happy. And to be successful, we have to decide to be successful. And that requires for me to become somebody else. If I'm not feeling successful today, I'm never going to get to reach those goals and that vision that I have, because that unsuccessful sense that I have within me, it's not going to allow it. Remember the thermostat and the plane, you're always going to be adjusting. And if you feel unsuccessful, that adjustment is going to be towards unsuccessfulness. And you're always going to be unsuccessful. And that's an automatic adjustment that's going to happen in your life in order for you not to reach your goals, not to reach the the place that you want to get to. So start behaving like this new person. Start acting with these new attitudes, this new way of thinking. Start moving, even if it's hard, even if you have to feel like you're pretending. You need to start acting as if you were successful. You can't wait for success to arrive at some point. You need to create it, and you start creating it by becoming. We don't become successful when we get what we want. We get what we want when we become successful. So make sure that you're working every day in becoming that successful person that you want to be. And that way, that this is going to help you to move progressively towards that worthy idea. All right, and then number six, it's act as if it were impossible to fail. And that's a fantastic phrase that has helped me so much to take action. You see, this is all about taking action. Even coming up with this podcast and started creating this podcast, for me, I had it in my head for a really long time. It was behind my mind, and it was something I really wanted to create. And I kept postponing. I just kept postponing for years. I kept postponing and not coming out with a podcast. And then I came across this phrase: "Act as if it were impossible to fail." Dorothea Barn. And when I took that and I said, this is exactly what I need. You see, we don't take action a lot of times because we're afraid. We're afraid that it's not going to work, that it's not going to come out, that it's going to be too much work, it's going to take too much time. And so we're always thinking that we're going to fail, that it's not going to happen, that it's not going to be able to happen. And this happens in our business all day long, because we're afraid we don't put out the proposal, because we're afraid we don't ask for the close, because we're afraid we don't spend money and we don't budget for advertising, or we keep the wrong people in our company because we're afraid, what if I get rid of this person and I don't find somebody else, and we don't hire the right people because of the same reason. We're afraid, and this fear of failing keeps us from taking action towards what the company may need at the time, right? So act as if it were impossible to fail puts you into this action mode that everything you do on a daily basis keeps you moving, because you're going to act as if it were impossible to fail, so that you can do more and more every single day. So if you notice, if we keep all this going, all these 6 steps, we're going to feel successful every single day. We don't have to wait until something happens, until I achieve something, until I get to my goal, to my vision. I'm going to feel successful every single day, and that's where I want you to be. I don't want you to be where I was, where I felt unsuccessful every single day because I didn't have that vision or that dream or that goal that I wanted. And since I didn't have that, I focused so much on my lack, on how much I was still missing to get there, that I actually felt unsuccessful most of the time, if not all the time. And until I realized it, success is not when you get there. Success is every single action that you take that gives you that progressive realization of a worthy idea. It gets you towards moving the needle towards that thing, that goal, that vision that you have. So I hope this helps and keeps you on track to feeling successful every single day, because this is a business growth attitude. This is an attitude that's going to help you grow your business every single day. And when we have this attitude, it helps us to take action faster, quicker, and more often, so we can get there faster. And remember, we were made for success. Okay, so don't talk yourself out of it. Believe that. Believe that you were made for success and experience success every single day of your life. And remember, change your attitude, change your life. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad you decided to be in this journey with me. I would ask you to rate and review the podcast. That really helps. And also visit businessgrowthattitude.com, where you can find resources, especially the free strategy sessions for those of you that are growing your company or have reached a plateau and want to break through that and get to the next level of growth. Take the free strategy session. Let's work together. Let's get you growing your business. Talk to you soon, and we'll see you in the next episode.